And my name is Michelle Love, and you are listening to Dynamic Change. And this morning, I hope you're having a fantastic morning. And what I do with this show, Dynamic Change, every week at Wednesdays at 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock, is I talk about wellness and how we can create more wellness in our lives. And what I do is I'm a certified wellness coach, I'm a certified self-defense instructor, fitness trainer, and I have a degree in psychology. My background is working with wellness for over 30 years in all different aspects. So when I do this show, I'm showing you all the tools and strategies and ideas I have come across for over 30 years. And if you need more information on me, you can go to my website, dynamicchange.wellness.com, and you can also email me there, dcwellness88 at gmail.com. dcwellness88 at gmail.com. You can find that link on the website and find out more about what I do and the classes I provide for the community. So today I'm really excited. I would really love to discuss how we create being able to focus on the positive things we want to create in our life, like how the direction of our life, how we want it to feel, and how we can also believe that it's possible. I think often we get stressed out from life or stressed out from kind of what's going on in the world or these external things in our environment, and it can make it a little challenging to even believe things are possible. And then also, how can we just focus on the positive? Because the more we are focusing on what we know would bring us so much positivity in our lives, what is the direction we want for our life and all the different categories, if we focus on the positive, it's going to make us emotionally feel better. It's going to help our energy to flow. We're going to have more of that flow in our life. And also being aware of the direction we want to always move towards with all the categories and focuses and feelings, the qualities of our life. So we are living a quality that is fulfilling in our life rather than being swept up in kind of just the things that happen that can be stressful or things that influence us, right? And so that's what I would like to talk about today here on KPCALP in Petaluma, a free range radio TV station. And so first, I want to talk about what helps us to focus. So I'm going to give you the techniques of ways to constantly focus the main categories and important things going on in life, and also what we can do to support that focus by making ourselves be in the best possible emotional and wellness state possible in order to believe it as well. Because I think oftentimes it creates a block when we're like, yeah, I would love to create this thing in my life, but is that really feasible? And I have always, my entire life, believed that anything is possible. And what I enjoyed about that particular aspect of my psyche, of my personality, was it left me really open to possibilities. It left me really open to creating new paths in my life and to keep moving forward in a way that felt supportive towards how I wanted my life to be. And I felt like that was a very powerful strength and tool that I had within myself. So I would really like to share how to constantly redirect ourselves towards that type of openness, focus, positivity for ourselves, which helps the mental health, it helps your health, and it helps your emotional well-being in life. So every day, I'll start with nighttime. So going to sleep in the evening, however you like to do it. If you have kids, you could put the kids to bed. You could complete the duties of the day. Okay? You can also do it while you're doing things. I often do this stuff when I'm driving, just paying attention to the thoughts that are roaming around in my head and to make them a really positive, a really focused in the direction that I want to be moving towards. So you can, if your mind is able to do that, you can multitask. So there's two ways you can do this. If you're a person that, your mind just wants to do one thing at a time, then just, calmly take some deep breaths, maybe put on some nice music, something soothing, and just focus on wrapping up the evening, okay? Whether it's taking care of kids or animals or connecting with your mate or prepping things for the next day. I find that is often very helpful, so you don't feel pressured when you get up in the morning, but kind of creating this completion and this feeling of being able to feel grounded within yourself. And it's almost like a ritual. So maybe doing that, and then maybe taking some time to go sit outside. If you have a lovely garden or you have just a chair outside and you want to just sit outside and take some deep breaths, you can start just tuning into, how do I want tomorrow to feel? And what are the directions that I want to keep moving towards? So often I would, put some focus into that. And you can also do this when you're going to sleep. I think it's really powerful to do it when you're going to sleep, because I think if you create this focus as your mind's relaxing and going to sleep and doing some deep breathing, it programs your subconscious, which is so accessible when we're sleeping. So that's a really powerful way to look at this too. So either way, I'm going to give you several different ways to approach it. So let's go to the idea of winding that day down, deep breathing, having relaxing music, kind of soothing yourself as you're wrapping up your evening. And as you're doing this, you can focus on how much, let's say you're putting your kids to bed. Focus on how much you love your kid in that moment. Take some deep breaths and just focus on something that just makes your heart feel good. And so often I will think of something that my kid has done. My kid's grown up now, but that just I found so entertaining, that kind of tickled my heart, that just I found really adorable. So try to find something that is just delightful to you. And so you tune into, okay, my kid did this one thing. It was so hysterical and it just broke up the stress of the moment. It was adorable. It just made me feel so happy in that moment and connected to my kid and appreciative of my kid. So, tune into something that is just so lovely. And if it's hard to tune into something, start making that something that you plan on focusing on. If when my kid was little, it was much more of a challenge for me to develop that flow with my kid, because it just felt like I was problem solving all the time, and you just you're always on all the time. So just start thinking, how can I create a little list, my little go-to, if it's been a challenging day, of something I could find entertaining, I could find amusing, or laugh at myself with my kid. Oh, I was really stressed out in that moment, but it was ridiculous. I mean, there was just no good solution. And sometimes you just have to surrender and just be able to laugh at it too. But creating some sort of focus to allow you to really relate to something positive within that particular arena in your life. So with kids, so you can also be doing this with your mate. You could also be like thinking, remembering a really good time, remembering when they did something special for you, when they were there for you, how affectionate they were, how considerate they were, or thoughtful. So latch on to something that just puts you in a place of feeling grateful, of your heart feeling open, and just appreciating that person and feeling that love connection. Okay, so you could be putting your kid to bed, you could be talking to your mate, you could be maybe doing something really thoughtful for your mate for the next day. Maybe you're doing something for them to just make the morning easier for them. Something, an activity that feels positive and also creates an easier flow for the next day. You're wrapping up this day so the next day can start off feeling fresh and feeling like things have been completed well enough to where you feel good when you get up in the morning. So creating that focus, maybe you just have the music on where you can listen to the music and just focus on how much you love your kid, how wonderful they are, how wonderful your mate is. If you don't have kids, you don't have a mate, maybe a pet. Sometimes connecting with the pet. Maybe I'm feeding my cat at that point and I'm thinking, I really appreciate how much my cat is just there for me, how much they know when I just need some companionship, how much they soothe me, or how funny they can be when I play with them. Finding something that makes us feel just that heart connection. Also, if you don't have a pet, sometimes we have plants, sometimes we have flowers, sometimes we don't have any of that, and that's why maybe sitting outside is lovely. Maybe just sitting outside and having a cup of tea and just breathe and just feel grateful for having a day of good health, having a day where you find something that felt really good, that you could feel grateful for. So however you want to do it, but really reaching out to the positivity within the different aspects and layers of your life. And then, deep breathing, making a soothing environment. You can light a candle. You can have maybe a lamp that dims. You can do something to make your home feel beautiful. That often, to me, it's kind of like snuggling into your environment and just nesting. That can be really soothing. So finding something that creates a soothing environment for yourself. And it's also very nurturing for our wellness when we take that time to think, what do we need in our environment to just create this positive feeling space? So for me, it is to kind of tidy up things in a nice, calm, relaxing manner. Maybe having the space look beautiful, lighting a candle, sometimes incense is nice, because that's soothing your senses, something that smells nice, or sometimes things just feeling, fresh and kind of organized is pleasant. Beautiful music is, the sense of hearing. So whatever does that for you, And then also letting go of things that feel stressful. So sometimes it's like, well, everything doesn't need to get done. Sometimes we need to approach it with, how much do I need to do to feel complete within for this day? And what do I need to let go? Sometimes there's just too much and you're not going to get around to it. And if you try to get around to it, it's going to make you feel taxed. So paying attention to that as well. And sometimes when I'm wrapping up my day, I kind of think about that. Well, okay, these few things will make me feel complete in this moment. And the other things, I'm just going to put that over there so I remember for tomorrow, and I'll do that tomorrow. And that helps ease my mind because I have made a plan. Sometimes I even put it in my phone in the calendar. Tomorrow, I make a list of the things I don't want to forget that are important so I can let it go. Okay, so finding ways to let things go when we need to complete, finding ways to connect with the positivity of the wonderful things in our lives and finding gratitude for it, finding love for some aspect in our lives, for whether it's people, friends, family, pets, kids, partners, and then also ourselves. So after we've kind of find this way to have a flow of just comfort, of ease, of completion and connection. So when we put that kid to bed, we feel that connection of love. We are able to tell our kid, I love you so much, and feel that heart connection of what that focusing on that positive thing does to that love connection. It really opens the heart. It releases stress. Life has a lot of layers, and I think learning how to release the stress is huge. So just, finding a way to do that. And then, and if you have those kids that are heavy thinkers, sometimes they're on the spectrum, that's a good time. As a parenting tool that I found is really helpful is kids that are on the spectrum, they're autistic, they're neuroatypical, which means they were like on the spectrum. They do really well with preparation, with a plan, and not, you don't want to make it so solid to where they get upset if the plan does not play out perfectly. But I found it was very, very helpful for my kid to say things, because they're on the spectrum, to say things like, tomorrow we have this activity. And if it feels like it's too much to do, maybe we'll adjust the plan a little bit. But just so you know, this is the plan for tomorrow. And just a simple plan. We have this and that. School, and then after school, we're going to do some shopping. And we'll see, how that feels to us, but just to prepare ourselves for this, just very basic, make it simple, because we don't want to overload ourselves. But that is a really powerful parenting tool, which I'll share more when I'm doing shows that are strictly on parenting. But I think it applies to ourselves. It can also apply to the people in our lives, to just kind of say our expectation of something simple that maybe you want support on. Maybe something, sometimes telling our mate, tomorrow, if you could please help me with this one thing, it would really help me have some more ease in my day. These things where we kind of think about what would create ease in the next day. So you go through wrapping up the evening with your mate, maybe telling your mate, I'm really grateful for you. Thank you for helping me with this today. Thank you for your thoughtfulness. Focusing on qualities about your mate that you really appreciate, that you really love, and opening up that energy within yourself. And then, so you've done kind of your slow activities to wrap up the day. in the most peaceful, grounding, calming, appreciative way you can. And then maybe you go sit outside. So again, my name is Michelle Love. You're listening to KPCA LP in Petaluma. This show is Dynamic Change. And I'm talking today from a wellness perspective on how we can create focus on the positive things we want to create in our life. So I'm talking about how to end your day in this really positive space for yourself to set the tone for the next day and the things you want to create in your life. So at the end of the day, sitting outside at that point and taking some deep breaths, a cup of tea, a cup of water, whatever feels nice to you, maybe like a little snack, but sitting outside, breathing deeply, and just deciding on how you want to feel the next day. Deciding, okay, tomorrow I want ease. Tomorrow I am only going to make the primary focus these two things I need to get done. And I'm going to see myself accomplishing those things with such ease and playfulness, and just I'm going to feel relaxed in my body. So decide how you're going to feel. So just just tell yourself, I have so much time to accomplish those two things. And sometimes we have to make it really simple. And then after we accomplish those two things in a good way, that feels balanced, that feels like there was time, that we felt like we could do it joyfully, then it creates this opening with our energy so that maybe if we decide we can do more, that's great. But, make it really simple. And then once you accomplish the simple in a really good way, in an experience that feels really positive to you, then you can always branch out. So I often will think about, okay, this is my work schedule for tomorrow, and maybe I will do one other thing, and I'm going to see the flow of that work schedule to be easy. That I will have all the energy that I need, that it will be enjoyable. Maybe I will have something entertaining happen that day at work. Maybe there will be someone funny that I will come across that day with my work. And I don't know about you, but humor, I think, is such an amazing part of life that I am so grateful when I bump up against somebody that has a really interesting mind, that really has an interesting personality, and they are willing to share that uniqueness about them, share their humor with me, their good-naturedness. I love that. I think that is one of the most valuable things in life for me, that makes me feel happy in that moment. And so I will say, okay, I'm really open to meeting joyful people. I'm open to having this ease. And imagine in your body doing those activities for the next day and have them feel easy in your body. So this is setting the tone for the next day so it can come out this way. If we put stress to it, we've already set it up to be a negative experience. So if we can, in our body, just imagine taking some deep breaths and feel, oftentimes I'll feel it in my heart. You can feel it, in the center of your body where your power center is. You can feel it in the second chakra in your body, the energy centers in our body. So we have energy centers in our body. And you can program those feelings, because we definitely hold feelings in our body. When you're stressed out, your stomach's a mess, right? Like it doesn't feel good, or your heart can feel tight, or your throat can feel constricted. We definitely hold all these expectations and feelings in our body. So why not intentionally create these anticipation of good things? So putting it somewhere in your body, wherever it feels good. So do this with me now. I'm going to do just a little bit of some guided, intentional meditation type focus. So if you're standing up, you can sit down if you like. If you're sitting down already, you can close your eyes. But finding a comfortable position, and let's take 3 deep breaths, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Doing this with me now, and then exhaling. Exhale through a straw. Push that air out fully, so you can fully push out all the air, and then hold your breath for a moment. When you're ready to inhale, inhale deeply. Exhale fully. Inhale deeply. Exhale fully. Last time, inhale deeply. Exhale fully. So now imagine, let's just go to the second chakra, which is between, it's like right below your belly button. So in a woman, it's like where the ovaries are, but it's just kind of that lower belly. So let's just imagine some energy being there. And, you know, even in psychology today, they do so much somatic work where they're talking about your emotional experience in your body. So sometimes, you know, people think, oh, the chakra stuff is too woo-woo. It's a way to give it framework. And this framework is really becoming very much more of a focus of psychology. And my background is in psychology, and so I just like to share so many ways we can approach it and visualize it and give it like framework. Okay, so just imagine that there's this ball of energy in that part of your body, and you can either see it in your mind. I used to imagine like wind blowing it to spin it, like a pinwheel. You know those little pinwheels when you're a kid and you hold the stick and you blow on it and it spins, right? So I would imagine that, or even a top. I used to imagine those tops when you're a kid. You spin the top and it spins, spins, spins. Like that's what the energy does in that part of my body. So I would give it a color. Let's give it an orange color. And I mean a beautiful orange. It could be a burnt orange. It could be an autumn color of the leaves when it's changing. It could be the beautiful orange in the sunset. It can be your favorite deep, lush, creative. Give it texture. Maybe it smells like autumn, you know, smells like cinnamon, smells like nutmeg and reminds you of fall, of the holidays. But whatever you want to give it, maybe give it as much texture as possible. I like to give it richness, so a beautiful rich color. And you can think of a smell if you want. You can think of the texture of maybe the season of fall and how there is like this shift, you know, so things are changing. And with that change, there's also a shift in energy, right? So we're moving the energy in that part of our body. It's spinning and it's spinning. It's this beautiful, beautiful color. Now imagine creating the feeling in your body that your work tomorrow is going to have ease. It's all the answers are just going to come to you magically. Just see that the solutions just come to you. The people you end up needing to talk to are nice. They're jovial. Maybe they make you laugh. Maybe they just are lovely people. So there's this ease. Start creating this ease. And then just see that there's so much abundance that you get from what you do tomorrow, whether it's work, whether it's your day off, and just the feeling grateful for the abundance in your body of receiving good things. So when I do this, I imagine seeing golden energy. Give it whatever color you want. Golden energy, orange, that autumn color, but you're receiving this quality of abundance through this ease of work or ease of just receptivity that you're worthy of just having ease and receiving from these things that you do with your day. For just being a wonderful, lovely person, even. Wow. You don't have to do anything. You're just so lovable and kind. So, what makes us lovable? I think it's kindness. I think it's, having an open heart. I think it's trying to always put your best foot forward. I think that it is your sense of humor, your ability to be understanding, all these things, your creativity. And so, really having a list of why you're worthy to receive. So, I always tell when I work with people on getting in touch of feeling lovable, feeling worthy, always have some things that are about your character that are really lovely, that you know are true. Okay? And have the biggest list possible, but at least have a couple of things where you're like, I'm really intelligent, I'm kind, I listen patiently to people that I'm close to when they need someone to listen. I'm creative. I love to dance. I love to share my dancing ability with others. Sometimes I, teach a class. I'm knowledgeable about health, and sometimes I use that to be helpful for others. Or I help my neighbor when I can. Like whatever it is. I'm a good mother. I'm a good mate. Like really, just whatever you can. Just keep focusing on how lovely you are. And so, and so taking some deep breaths. Let's do 3 deep breaths. And I want you to focus on 3 lovable things about yourself. So breathing in. Exhale through a straw. And breathing in. Exhale through a straw. Last time. Breathing in. Exhale through a straw. And thinking and tuning into that list of what's lovely about you. And then again, feeling that lovableness or that appreciation for yourself in your body. Put that into your heart. So I like to put a green color in my heart, feel the energy moving, and just appreciate yourself. Appreciate those things about yourself. And then feel how worthy and lovable you are to accept and program this ease into your life, to program abundance. So you're programming your expectation, you're making it real within your psyche, your emotional body, and somatically in your body by focusing on these things. You can even put your hand on your heart, breathing in. Let's take 2 breaths, hands on your heart, appreciating and loving yourself. One last deep breath. Breathe deep into your body, deep into your belly. So now that we have worked on our somatic experience, how you feel, somatic means how you emotionally feel, how you feel in your body. And we're programming it with some positivity. Now think about your work. So focusing on your work, not only have we programmed the next day, maybe you're retired, so maybe it can just be the focus of your path in your life. But whatever you do that is a big focus in your life. But I'm going to use the example of work. So then think about what would bring you the most joy with work? So I often have always gravitated towards what I really wanted to do with my work, which I'm very grateful I was able to do that, and also allowing myself to be creative with what that work ends up being, because I have my own business and work for myself part-time ever since I was very young, because I had trades and I did things that allowed me to do this. So just thinking, pondering, if you're not already doing it, what type of service or work in the world would feel the most fulfilling? And just believe that there's a way for you to do that if you're not already doing it. So just imagining. So for me, I would focus on what I loved to do and where I felt most competent. For me, I had a natural inclination and knowledge towards working with the body and the psyche and working with people. And I really found fulfillment in helping people. So I always reached towards that type of work. So and I think it's just what you're naturally good at and you enjoy. So just think about what inspires you when it comes to that category of like that, whatever, work. Okay, so with my work, I often encourage people to think about what is strong in their personality. So sometimes we don't know what to do for work, but just think, okay, I'm a really good communicator. Is there a way I can do work that revolves around communication? I enjoy it. I'm good at it. How can I manifest a job that feels enjoyable, that has communication be part of it? Sometimes people are just brilliant and they come up with these creative ideas. Okay, so how can maybe there's a type of work where you're allowed to problem solve. And just think of the different categories. And I guess, I don't do the whole AI thing, but I know there's this AI thing now where you can kind of bounce off ideas with it, or sometimes you can Google it as well and say, what jobs revolve around communication? What jobs revolve around problem solving? What jobs revolve around creativity? And just think about, okay, I'm a creative person. I'm a technology. I'm very good at technology. I enjoy technology. And maybe just Google all the different jobs that fall in that category. And then just brainstorm, just read the list and think, well, how can I move forward towards that particular job, that particular aspect of the job, and then just imagine it coming to you in your life easily, without just
in
so
a good way. How can we really work towards creating more and more and more expression of what we're good at, what makes us feel happy, what makes us feel competent, what makes us feel open to steering our life in a direction that makes us feel the most fulfilled within ourselves. So as we're sitting there, we're deep breathing at the end of the day, we're just thinking about the categories within our lives and the different aspects of our lives and how we can keep creating what we want, as opposed to just going along with life in a way that maybe doesn't bring us the most fulfillment or feel stressful, and we should be enjoying our lives. So again, you're listening to Michelle Love with Dynamic Change on KPCALP in Petaluma, and I am talking about how can we focus on the positive things we want to create in our lives. How do we bring that about? How do we make it feel real within our psyche, within our body, somatically, and so emotionally, and keep our mind focused and our whole intention within ourselves focused emotionally on this positivity of all these experiences within our lives. So then I'm talking about sitting outside at the end of your day and then focusing on, we've focused on work or your life path. So if you're retired, you could also say, what am I good at? What makes me feel really expressive of my talents and makes me feel really happy? And maybe it's volunteering, maybe it's taking an art class, but something that creates such a positive feeling and focus in your life. So we did work as an example. And then what I do is I focus on the relationships in my life, whether it's my partner, whether it's my relationship with my kids, maybe it's my relationship with the world, but I see this positivity. And so like for me, I love to put out pink light from my heart. I imagine putting this love out to that expression in my life. I want to see just this loving connection with my kid. So do this with me now. Take a deep breath and decide where you want to send some love in your life, whether it's out to your partner, your kid, your animal, yourself. But let's take some 2 deep breaths. Do this with me now. Hold the breath for a moment and then exhale through a straw. Send that love out to that person. That pink light from your heart. One more breath. Holding the breath a moment and then exhale. So then sending that love out to your kid, your friend, your family, your partner. And then let's also talk about sending it out to the world. Now, I think the world these days it has a lot going on in the world. And often that can be a lot to process and can make us feel stressed out. So one of the things I like to do is send love out to just kind of all the people and the environment and the planet and the animals. I like to I'm all inclusive. I said just send it to everything, and not being selective so much. I like to just send it out to everybody. I like to send it out to everyone, just sending out positivity and the belief that we can always have more and more positivity within our world, within our environment, within our experience. So do this with me now. Take some deep breaths and send out that love just randomly to everything. Taking a deep breath and exhale. Taking another deep breath and exhale. One more deep breath and exhale. Very good. So now, if you have a group of people that you tend to be concerned about. So for me, I'm just going to pick, I love to see healing with domestic violence. That's one of the areas I just love to see growth. I love to see people healing themselves, healing the pattern, and believing it can heal. I always hold on to the idea that everything can heal. And that is my focus. It's one of my beliefs. You can say it's my motto in life. So just pick something that tends to be a focus for you, that it would be helpful to see it in a way where it can be healed. So pick something and just believe it's possible. If we believe it's possible, I believe we support that conclusion happening. If we are focusing on the negativity of it, if we are focusing on it being a problem, if we are focusing on, the unsettling quality of that situation, then it gives power to it. So pick something that you want to see healed. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths and send it green for healing. And send it the open-mindedness within yourself, the belief that this can heal. So often what I do is I see those people empowered. I see them in their strength. I see them happy. I see them as whole people that are reaching towards extreme wellness. Okay? So I'll give you a way to put it in a framework and a visualization. So 3 deep breaths. Sending that energy out to whoever you want to send that positivity to, that healing to. Breathing in deeply, holding that breath, and then exhale. And one more breath, holding that breath, and exhale. Good. So now we've focused on some positive shifts and some healing and supporting that feeling in your body of it's possible for that to heal. Now I want you to now focus on in your power center. Let's do it on our power center right here, the center of your body. Imagine this ball of energy, and it's golden color like a sun. It's your sun, it's your oomph, it's your power, it is your strength. I want you to spin that ball of energy really big, really vibrant. Make it big. And imagine feeling the relief, the stillness, the focus in your body of how you feel, knowing that that thing out in the world is healing. It is shifting, that you are supporting this positive shift. So feel and get in touch with your power. And this is like, to me, this is just kind of our feisty, your warrior or your warrioress, I can do it, your strength, your personal determination and focus. So just, tune into that part of your body and your energy. And this is like fighting the good fight, in my opinion. So we don't have to fight, right? You're supporting that strength in the world. So there's no struggle. There is ease because you are supporting that concept being strong, this positive healing concept. So 3 deep breaths, and you're going to feel that in your power center. Feel ease, and just intentionally relax that part of your body and feel your strength, feel your determination, and your supportive belief that that will happen with what you just focused on in the world. So breathing in and exhale. Breathing in and exhale. Spinning that energy in the power center. One more breath. And exhale. Now, breathing into your heart chakra. Make in your heart, in the center of your chest, just spin this beautiful pink energy. And I want you to really think of how lovable you are. And so now you're feeling the quality of love you have for yourself. Breathing into your heart, spinning this ball of energy, a beautiful pink, and appreciate something about yourself. And one more breath. So really feeling that texture of love for yourself, that focus of how lovable you are, and throughout your day, focusing on feeling that love for yourself. Often I want to be in a place where what I'm projecting out to the world is this loving, healing energy. And that is my focus. And so I walk around, I work on this, feeling this in my heart. And this is what I want to project out. So again, we were sitting outside when we started this, visualizing how we want to feel in our body, how we want to focus our life, how we want to focus our intentions towards our loved ones, towards the environment. And again, when I'm focusing this love for myself, appreciating myself, deciding how I want to create things in my life. I think about work, I think about my relationships, how I want it to feel in my body, how I want to feel ease and abundance. So creating a focus on the positive. So decide what you want in your life and say, okay, I want to have abundance. How is it going to feel relieved as I'm receiving abundance in my life? So we got to focus on feeling it in our body, believing it's possible, and creating these concepts within our psyche and our emotional structure, scaffolding within ourselves. So I'm giving you like a format here of how you can play around with these techniques of, okay, I'm going to sit at the end of my day, do some deep breathing, have a cup of tea, imagine what I want to do with my work, how the flow is going to feel, how easy I'm going to create all the work I want to be doing and sharing my brilliant qualities of myself with the world. And, whether you stay in your line of work or maybe you part-time start leaning into a new direction, however you want to do that. And then I want to think about also the quality of my relationships with the people that are so important to me. So how does it look? And I imagine having a loving connection with those people. How will it feel in my body when we are laughing? How will it feel in my body when I hold their hand? How will it feel in my body when I'm listening to them? And see that love, see that joy. Okay, how am I relating to the flow of my life? Am I seeing ease? Am I seeing the solutions coming to me easily? Am I just focusing on what's necessary and allowing that to have a nice, easy flow? And then if there's time for other things, then great. So, how am I creating flow in my life? Okay, how am I creating my flow with society? Am I looking for positive experiences with others? Am I looking for good humor, patience, kindness? Am I seeing the things I want to see shift in the world, seeing and believing that it can heal, it can be empowered, and that there can be a positive outcome? And because whatever we are focusing on, it supports that in the world. If we focus on negativity, you are giving that power. So we want to focus on, decide what is positive to you and how are you going to decide to feel in your body, and start deciding ahead of time. So by the time the next day comes, you have already set the tone. You have already put it in your body. You've already started creating the motion of that energy for all that positivity. So often when I'm going to sleep, I would lay down and I would imagine in my body, just like all of this I gave you, this meditation, these ideas of how to program myself, my subconscious, on how everything was going to feel, how I was moving towards all this positivity in my life. And then when I get up in the morning, I get dressed, I do my things, and I often would do it again in the car. Or if you're really together and very proud of you, you can go sit outside again. To give yourself 10 minutes in the morning to do a guided meditation or some deep breathing, and again, set yourself. I'm going to feel happy. I'm going to feel abundant. I'm going to have ease in my life. Just see the drive being easy wherever you're going. See that you have time to exercise and you're going to feel so healthy within your body. See all this positivity with the people you love and constantly setting the tone. And so I often would do this throughout my day. Anytime I was driving, to me that just seemed, if it was an easy drive, sometimes we have easy drives, and I would just focus on one feeling this ease, feeling this ease of the shopping, feeling this ease of my drive, or when I walk. When you're doing something simple like walking, it's a really good time to just walk slowly and imagine this type of thing. Imagine the ease, imagine joy, imagine happiness. Often I would go for a walk, like let's say I'm out on a dirt road, okay, like I took a walk and there's a path. I would close my eyes and carefully just walk really slow for maybe 10 seconds, allow my eyes to just be pretty much closed or almost completely closed, but relaxed. Breathe in real deep, and I would just feel how comforting and beautiful the sun felt on my skin. Just something simple, or I could smell the flowers, or something where I was appreciating something and it was calming. So doing these really simple techniques are a way for us to focus on positive things in our lives, and also laughing, making sure you are programming laughing into your day, making sure you are programming fun into your day. This is what's going to help you be in a positive, grateful, happy place. So make sure you program in fun, go to the movies, go have tea with your friends, take yourself out occasionally, listen to the comedians, watch a funny show, whatever works for you. Play with the dog, play with the kids, have a game night. Those kinds of things are going to help you feel positive connection, positive thoughts. Exercise as much as you can. I'm going to share with you one of the shows we have on the station here now, and it's called the Vintage Audio Hour. It's on Tuesdays from 3 to 4 p.m., hosted by Rich Kroll, I think that's how you pronounce it. And it's a compilation focusing on singers, songwriters, including rock and the eclectic side of country music, featuring artists from Dave Alvin to Warren Zevon. We will also play from the catalogs of lesser known current artists. That sounds like a lovely show on Tuesdays from 3 to 4 p.m. here on KPCALP in Petaluma, a free-range radio station. And again, you have been listening to Michelle Love. My show is Dynamic Change, every Wednesday from 11 to 12 o'clock. And I use my over 30 years experience in the wellness field to show you ways you can create wellness and find fulfillment in your life. For more information on all the things I do, you can go to my website, dynamicchangewellness.com. You can also go to my YouTube station, it's Michelle Love with dynamicchangewellness.com. Michelle Love with Dynamic Change and Wellness. And that will bring up all the shows that I do with Dynamic Change, all the recordings, all the ones I have done on YouTube. So today, I hope your day is so lovely, and I hope you enjoy the sun, and I appreciate you tuning in, and have a lovely day. Thank you so much. I will see you next time.